You want him to crave you, not just with his heart, but with his whole body. Not in a short-lived or shallow way, but in that deep, raw hunger that keeps his thoughts tied to your presence. This isn't about tricks, it's about energy. And when you understand these 5 deep truths, you'll stop chasing his attention. He'll come to you, unable to resist. Every woman carries a power she often doesn't realize. It's not based on beauty or clever moves, but on her presence, her energy, and how she expresses her feminine self. If you've ever wondered how to make a man long for you, not just look at you, but feel you in his bones, this is where it starts. These 5 truths stir something inside him he can't ignore. A woman's confidence can't be faked or borrowed. It's something deep, grown from self-worth, and shown in how she moves through the world. When a woman is fully at home in her body, when she walks with calm confidence, not arrogance, it sends a strong message to a man's mind and body. She knows who she is. She doesn't need others to tell her. This kind of woman doesn't fight to be seen, but somehow the spotlight always finds her. She doesn't explain herself too much. She doesn't try too hard to impress. Her worth isn't on display for anyone's approval. It's quietly known. And when someone truly sees that, they don't just glance, they stay. They think. They wonder what it feels like to be close to her, to be touched by her, to be understood by her. When you walk into a room, your body speaks louder than your words. The way your shoulders rest, the calm in your eyes, the way you stand, all of it sends a message. Men are built to notice signals of safety, confidence, and calm strength. When a woman shows quiet power in her body, without saying a word, he sees her as someone he can't conquer. And that's why he wants her even more. What can't be easily taken becomes more valuable in his mind. She's not trying to be sexy, she simply is, because she's whole. She isn't needy. She isn't trying to prove anything. And that lack of effort becomes powerful. The more sure she is in her value, the more his thoughts run wild with curiosity. This isn't about being loud or overly sexual. Real feminine attraction is in the small things. A soft smile that lasts a little too long. A look that meets his and then drifts away. A calm stillness in the middle of chaos. That's what pulls him in. Men are drawn to this because it creates a kind of tension, a feeling they can't explain or fix. He starts paying close attention. The way you move your hand while talking, how you confidently sip your drink, how you gently but firmly say no. These small moments burn into his memory. He doesn't even know why. He just feels pulled toward you. You don't need to outshine younger women or louder women. Feminine strength isn't about how loud you are. It's about how fully you live in your own skin. When you love every curve, every scar, and carry yourself with pride, men don't see flaws. They see freedom. And that freedom pulls them in. It's powerful. It's rare. It's beautiful. There's something deep in men that recognizes a woman who can't be shaken. Not because she's never been hurt, but because she's faced pain and kept moving. That kind of strength hits something in a man's body. It makes him want to protect her, stand beside her, show her his worth, not to fix her, but because being close to her makes him feel something real. Confidence isn't just how you look, it's a feeling. It's choosing not to shrink, not to say sorry just for existing, not to make yourself smaller for anyone else's comfort. When you move with that kind of energy, every little action becomes full of magnetism. How you brush your hair back, cross your legs, breathe after speaking, all of it speaks volumes. Not because you're trying to be sexy, but because you're present. Men are natural pursuers. Confidence sets off that pursuit, not because you're playing games, but because they sense your attention isn't easy to win. That's the difference. A woman who needs a man makes his ego feel good. A woman who enjoys him but doesn't need him, that challenges him. And that challenge wakes something deep in him. A woman who owns her presence also owns her silence. She doesn't fill every quiet moment with words. She lets the space breathe. She lets him wonder what she's thinking. This is one of the secrets of feminine power: stillness. We live in noisy times, but the woman who's at peace in silence, in her own mind, and in the space of others, becomes captivating. Men aren't only drawn to voices, they're drawn to presence. They want to feel that the woman in front of them is fully there, not acting, not waiting to be liked, just present. That grounded presence pulls them in like gravity. Confidence also brings clarity, and clarity is attractive. A woman who knows what she wants, what she will and won't accept, what she loves and what she walks away from, she gives a man a sense of safety. She doesn't beg, she doesn't have to over-explain, she doesn't lower her standards for affection. She simply stands in who she is. And in that stillness, she becomes a mirror, reflecting his own values back at him. He may not say it out loud, but he feels it. Am I enough to be with her? That question stirs something deep in him, and if he decides the answer is yes, he won't just feel emotionally connected. He will crave you with a fire that's both physical and soulful. Yes, men often respond to what they see, but what holds their desire runs deeper. It's energy, the kind of energy that walks into a room before you say a word and lingers long after you've gone. Feminine energy, when owned fully, becomes a force a man can't ignore. It's not just about the words, it's how you say them, the tone of your voice, the softness of your eyes, the way your body expresses emotion. Men feel this, even if they don't fully understand it. And once they feel it, they want more. This kind of energy isn't about being overly sexy or fake. It's about being alive, really alive in your body and feelings, and letting that energy move through you. When you speak, are you soft because you're unsure, or because you're choosing softness from strength? That difference matters. Men feel that. A woman who speaks gently but with meaning doesn't seem weak. She seems emotionally wise and strong in her softness. That strength is incredibly attractive. It's the difference between someone acting and someone being fully there. And presence is what makes physical desire grow. Men don't just want a woman who looks good. They crave the woman who feels real, not boring, not predictable. Real in a way that wakes something in their soul. When you let yourself slow down, lean in, pause between words, let emotion color your voice, you're giving him space to feel you. You're not just sharing thoughts. You're inviting him into your world. That moment of real connection becomes unforgettable. It feels meaningful, it feels rare, and his body reacts before he can even explain why. It's the small things that stir deep desire. The way you tilt your head when you're curious, the way your lips part just before you speak, the softness in your eyes when you truly listen, not to respond, but to connect. These small signals, when they're real, drive him wild, not because they're planned, but because they show your true feminine energy. Our world has pushed women to compete, to rush, to try to keep up with men. But what truly draws a man in is not a woman who competes with him, but one who brings him back to his feelings. There's something mysterious about a woman who flows with her energy. She doesn't try to be seen, she just is, and people notice. She might walk by, say almost nothing, and yet his focus shifts entirely. not because of what she's wearing, but because of the feeling she carries. Her energy is warm, safe, yet electric. No pressure, no games, just a quiet flame behind her eyes, and that flame stays in his thoughts long after she's gone. That warmth becomes a memory he can't shake. He starts craving not just her body, but the feeling she gave him. That emotional touch. That's also why vulnerability, when held with strength, is powerful. A woman who can share something tender without falling apart, without apologizing for it, she holds his full attention. A simple sentence like "that really touched me," or "I've never told anyone this before," when said with honesty, reaches into his heart. He leans in, not just to understand you, but to feel you, because real closeness, emotional closeness, leads to physical craving. When a woman is open in her heart and steady in her energy, she becomes unforgettable. She opens a door that most never do, and the man who walks through that door will never forget her. As you don't have to overact or be overly expressive. In fact, the less you try, the more powerful you become. Feminine energy doesn't need to be pushed. It flows when you stop trying to control it. When you let yourself be seen, felt, and heard without trying to manage the moment, you offer him something rare. You let him feel the real you. And once he feels that, he doesn't just want to be around you. He aches for it. He dreams of touching it, holding it, tasting it. Not only for sex, but because you gave him something deeper. Intimacy that comes from energy, not just appearance. This is why sensuality matters. Not loud sexuality, but quiet, full body enjoyment. The way you live in each moment, the way you feel joy in small things. That's what he'll never forget. The feeling of fabric on your skin, the smell of something you love, the rhythm of your breathing. When a man sees a woman who is in touch with her senses, he starts to imagine what it would feel like to have those senses brought to life by her. When you laugh from deep inside, when you sigh with true joy, when you close your eyes and just feel, he sees it. And something primal stirs inside him. Not because you're trying to attract him, but because you're fully alive. And nothing pulls a man in more than a woman who feels fully alive. So remember this, your energy is not invisible. It speaks loudly at the right frequency. The right men notice it. And when a man meets a woman who carries herself with presence, who shows both softness and strength in the same moment, he starts craving her in ways he can't fully explain. She becomes someone he doesn't just want to touch. He feels like he needs to experience her, to connect with her, to merge with her. That craving isn't just about desire, it's about energy. He wants to be close to what makes him feel more human, more grounded, more awake. And that beautiful woman is you. Touch is the oldest language between a man and a woman. It came before words. It skips past logic and speaks straight to the body and the deep part of the mind. It's not about how much, it's about how meaningful. One single mindful touch can stay in a man's memory more than 1,000 words ever could. But the kind of touch that makes a man truly crave you isn't random. It's not just habit. It carries emotion, meaning, and depth. This is where many people misunderstand. They think touching is just about starting intimacy. But true feminine touch is something sacred. It shows play, safety, warmth, mystery, and respect, all in one small moment. When you truly get this, you won't feel like you need to chase physical closeness. He'll already be drawn to you longing for it without knowing why. A man's body reacts to subtle things. The gentle brush of your fingers on his arm while you're laughing, the slow motion of your finger on the back of his hand while sitting beside him, the moment your palm rests lightly on his chest as you make a point. These small actions, when done with emotional presence, build real tension. You're not grabbing at him, you're not begging for him, you're inviting him into a full body experience. And the invitation doesn't yell, it whispers. That whisper slips past his thinking mind and touches his nerves. He'll feel the afterglow of that one simple moment hours later, while he's at work, sitting in traffic, lying in bed, wondering why your touch still lingers on his skin. The difference between a touch he forgets and one he can't stop thinking about comes down to why it happened. If you touch him because you feel like you should, or because it's expected, it doesn't carry much meaning. But if your hand finds his in a warm moment, or your fingers stay just a second longer during a pause, it stirs something inside him. It's not just about how it feels on the skin, it's the message behind it. Messages like "I see you," "I trust this," or "I feel good next to you." These things aren't said out loud, but they come through in your touch. And if a man feels safe and wanted in your touch, he'll come back for more, not just to feel turned on, but to feel close. He'll make up reasons to sit near you, to brush by you, to hold your hand, because your touch gives him something most men are quietly starving for: emotional warmth. This is where the woman's body becomes a place of peace for a man. When you let yourself be soft, open and kind with your touch, but without needing anything back. You give him a quiet break from the world that tells him to always be tough. You make a space where he can stop pretending, where he can just be. You don't have to say, "I'm here for you," when your hand rests on his shoulder, your fingertips move along his neck, or your hug stays just a few seconds longer. It says it even louder. And when a man starts to link your body with peace, with presence, with pleasure, he won't just want it sometimes, he'll crave it often. Your touch will start to feel like a place he can return to again and again. Understand this too. Masculine men don't just want to feel physical pleasure. They want to feel chosen. When a woman's touch comes from real care, it says, "You're safe with me, and I choose this moment with you." That feeling, the sense of being chosen by a calm, glowing woman, can soften even the most guarded man. And when he softens, he opens. When he opens, his desire becomes deeper. It stops being just about attraction. It turns into devotion. Your touch then becomes more than a tease. It becomes a bond, something that keeps pulling him back. Because it's not just about how it feels, it's about how you make him feel. Calm, lit up, seen, valued. But for this to happen, you also need to be present. You can't offer real, meaningful touch if you're not fully in your own body. If you're worried, distracted, or feeling far away from yourself, your touch won't carry real power. That's why being connected to yourself is a big part of feminine energy. When you feel your skin, your breath, your emotions, your touch becomes alive. And men notice that. A woman who is connected to her body can lay her head on a man's shoulder and stir more desire than 100 suggestive messages ever could. Because her body is honest. And that truth, even when it's quiet, is felt. Let go of the need to perform when it comes to affection. You don't need to prove anything. You're already magnetic when you're deeply aware of yourself. That deep awareness makes every touch count. Yes, there are times for passion and bold moves, but don't forget the deep magic in going slow, being still, or being gentle. Those feelings are rare now, and men are silently missing them. They may not always ask, But when they feel it, they recognize it. And when they do, they link that calm and that spark with you. Here's the real truth. You can touch a man's body, or you can touch his spirit through his body. When your touch carries presence, meaning, and care, it goes beyond physical. It becomes something spiritual, and that's where real craving starts. Not because of lust, because of connection, not because of pressure, because of openness. A man doesn't crave a woman just because she's the boldest or loudest. He craves her because her stillness, her presence, her gentle hand brought something back to life inside him. And once he's felt that, he doesn't want anything less. He needs more. He dreams of her touch, her warmth, her nearness. Because she didn't just touch his skin, she touched a deep part of him he didn't even know was waiting. Desire starts where life begins. A woman who shows desire, not just for a man, but for life, is completely unforgettable. She doesn't walk through the world numb or small. She glows, not because someone told her to shine, but because she decided to. And when a man meets a woman who wants life, not needs, but wants, he can't help but move closer. Because masculine energy is always drawn to that kind of feminine fire. A man might notice beauty, he might respect brains, but he deeply craves the light inside a woman who's alive. The way she pauses to feel the sun on her skin, the way her voice lifts when she talks about something she loves, the way her laugh fills a room, it sparks something inside him, because her energy doesn't just arrive, it changes everything.